Welcome to the July 24, 2025 school board meeting. Would you please join us for a moment of silence? Thank you. Would you join us for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the
Next, we have approval of the agenda. We have a couple of additions under maintenance. We need to add under DI maintenance update. Under human resources, under 4, it's got contracted school psychologist, Dr. Melissa Johnson. We just need to have on record we've added it because it was not on the published one, but it's on this agenda. And under I-4, we need to add wave effect. Do we have any other additions, changes?
Madam Chairman, motion that I made back in May was tabled for the next meeting, and since we didn't bring it up the next meeting, Mr. Hall has said that it has to be brought to the floor again in order to be discussed. So I want to move the CNN motion that I made be added.
Let's put it under 3A3, the CNN10 discussion. Any other changes?
move to approve.
A second. Have a motion to approve and a second. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. I'll move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Are we going to do July 8th and I'm sorry, there's a June 26th and a July 8th, or we're going to do one at a time?
I can move to approve both the June 26th and June 8th minutes.
Second motion.
Any other discussion? Vote, please.
June 19th. June 26th.
I think it's the minutes say July 8th and June 26th. Did think you're
Sorry about that. All ayes.
motion carries. Next, we have public comment on actionable items. Thank you, Ms. Hall. Next, we have staff and school recognitions.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I am honored to have Mr. George Dufty with us tonight. Mr. George, would you come on up? Mr. George has been with us 50 years as a bus driver. He is in the Transportation Hall of Fame. Miss Melissa, come on up with him and let's get a picture.
I can't wait to Christmas.
Madam Chair, I would like to recognize 4 students, 3 from Creekwood and 1 from Dickson Middle. Creekwood's E.J. Larkins baseball, Elizabeth Martin softball, Holly Wilson track and field all were named to all-star teams this summer. Dickson County High School, Carolee Grove was also named to an all-star team for softball. So congratulations to all 4 of these young teenagers that we have going to school. I think they're all seniors this year. So congratulations to them. Is Coralie a senior?
Coralie, yeah, no, she's a junior.
She's a
She'll be
junior.
a senior.
Okay. So congratulations to them. And we're going to send those pictures to their families. And that's it on recognitions.
Okay, we'll move to curriculum and instruction.
Dr. Thiel.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Mr. Parker is passing down a handout for you guys. It was not in your board packet because the information that's on it was released after the board packet was shared with you guys, but it's such amazing information that we wanted to make sure that we've got it in your hands so you could see it. So the state released district and state level TCAP and EOC data for us to see. And so whenever they released it, if you went to the state report card and clicked on Dickson County, this is the data that you would see. It is kind of jumbled up and you have to filter through it a little bit. So we wanted to put it in a nice, neat fashion so you guys could look at it. So this is an analysis over time, and it shows where we were in 2021 compared to where we are now. So it gives us a picture over the last several years for our core content areas. So whenever you look at that top graph, it's showing our proficiency rates. So these are the percent of students who met or exceeded expectations of the standards on TCAP and EOC. So we can see the green bar represents 2021, and then that blue bar represents 2025. So we can see that for most of our content areas, we've had double-digit growth across the time. And then at the bottom, it just shows you for each of those individual years that upward trajectory and those stair steps where we're working our way up. And this is for our students in grades 3 through 12. So we wanted to give them all a huge shout out because we're on that upward trajectory. We know Dr. Sutherland's wig is to get us in that top 10% of the state. And so we feel like this is the trajectory that we're going to stay on to help us get there. So that was a celebration that we wanted to celebrate our teachers and our students for the hard work that they've been putting in over the last several years.
And so we will begin to release information after we share it with you to the media.
Of course, is there a state average?
The state average is the blue average at the top for across time. And so for each of the years, I can add that, Mr. Chadwick, at the bottom so you could kind of see how we compare to the state at the bottom each of those years for you. But we were above the state average as we've been climbing on up through there. So,
Dr. Thiel. Mr.
Yes.
Haley?
How far back reasonably can you retrieve the year's data prior to 21?
It's on the state website where you can go back multiple years. So my data I've been keeping since I started the job, so I have it at the drop of a hat, but you can go in and dig so we could keep on going back further. It's multiple years.
So you started it 2 years ago or 21?
I started in 21.
21?
Mhm.
The reason I'm asking, I'm just curious how these numbers would look if we looked at 18, 19
Pre-COVID.
to see
That
how we've
fluctuation. And so whenever and that is a good thought, I should have put that on here. Whenever we do our strategic planning, they do have that piece and you can look and you can see that dip, but you can see that we're back up and we're above where we had started pre-COVID. And so we're getting back to where we were. We did hit that dip, but we're heading back up.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
The DC DLA contract for Imagine Learning.
She was so excited about
She
the data.
forgot about the other. That's okay.
I'll change my hat and put on my DC DLA hat. So for our district learning academy, I know we had talked about this at planning that we have sent out those letters trying to get people to come back that are doing those virtual online platforms. I'm happy to report that we are continuing to get those responses in, and people still today. I went through and we were looking at those packets of people who are enrolling, approving them, getting them enrolled. So we are going to be going with Imagine Learning this year for our platform. I've spoken with them multiple times. I actually spoke with them today, and what they offer matches up with what we need in Dickson County. And so we have the contract. Dr. Sutherland has that for you guys to sign. I think that Miss Sonia needs to sign that, and Dr. Sutherland and Mr. Hull look over it. But we're just asking that you guys approve that for us to go with that platform. They offer synchronous, asynchronous. It's all Dickson County teachers. The previous platform that we had that did that synchronous and asynchronous part, it wasn't the teacher that was teaching them on the platform, the one that was doing the face-to-face learning, and that was a disconnect. And so with this platform, it's the actual teacher that's the platform teacher is doing the face-to-face teaching. It was only 30 minutes a week with face-to-face learning. With the prior platform, with this platform, I can ask for as much face-to-face as I want. If I look and I see that a student is struggling, I can make face-to-face for them 3 days a week instead of just 1 day for 30 minutes. So it's very more intentional, very more detailed for what the students need. They offer more course offerings with Tennessee certified teachers. So we're really excited about working with them and having these services offered to our students. Our students are excited about it. We're having, with the approval tonight, whenever we get that, we're on the books to have a family orientation for Imagine Learning to come and talk with families and parents and get us ready to start the 25-26 school year.
Chair,
Yes.
2 quick questions. So is it their teachers or our teachers?
It's their teachers, but they're all Tennessee certified teachers. Mm-hmm.
And then I saw it references like they don't do like the special ed piece.
We do. It is special ed. They do have special ed teachers. And so Dr. Johnson and our new SPED coordinator and we work very closely with them. We have IEP meetings. The teachers come to the IEP meetings that we meet all accommodations that those students need. So it does have that special ed accommodation and ability pieces with it. Mm-hmm. And they also have AP classes, dual enrollment classes, those kinds of things as well. So for our kids who want to do virtual learning but have those higher expectations, those classes are offered too.
Mr. Parker.
So this curriculum costs $50,000, right?
So on the quote that you guys have in front of you, you pay by classes or courses. And so we didn't know exactly how many students that we were going to have. And so they just lowballed it and put in the $50,000, which covers, it tells on there how many courses that covers. We know we're going to need more than that. And they only bill on usage, so you don't get overcharged. We didn't want to say we're going to have 80 kids sign up and then only 50 and then have committed, then told them we were going to pay for the 80. So we lowballed it. And so once we get in there and we start registering the students, they'll bill us on usage for the courses.
So what line did we budget this in?
It's under, I have a DCDLA virtual learning line in the budget.
And that's within your budget?
Mhm.
Yes.
I budgeted the full amount that I think I will need, which is close to 175,000. And I put that on the quote. It says that it can't go over that because that's what I budgeted for it.
So what are we voting tonight is just the 48,650, and then we'll have to come back when.
I don't know if we'll have to re-vote since we already budgeted it and it was in the budget according to Miss Valerie, and that's probably an Alan question. I think tonight we're just saying that we're voting to say this is our new platform that we're going with.
Right.
Correct, but it would be subject to the terms of the contract that I've yet to review.
Understood. Thank you.
Have you reviewed the contract already, or?
I have not. No.
Are you looking for a motion to pass this?
That is, I think,
Since it's more than 25,000, we need to. Is that right, Mr. Hall?
Yes.
That's correct.
We'll make a motion that we accept the recommendation of Dr. Teal, subject to the approval of the contract by our attorney, Mr. Hall.
We have a motion and a second to accept this based on Mr. Hall approving it. Any other discussion or questions?
Mr. Hall, can you just send us an email after you get done with it?
I will.
Thank you.
Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carried.
thank you.
Passes. Thank you. Next, we have we have Mr. Chadwick CNN 10 discussion.
I suppose some people think I've got a bird in my saddle blanket with CNN 10, but as my understanding, these videos were being shown during CTE class time. CTE teacher, and some of the subjects that these videos include were questionable, and I had parents complain to me about it, and that's why I brought up the fact that, and the parents related that their daughter kept questioning why we were watching these things, and teachers said, well, this is what we're going to do. And after a bit of pushback from the parents, they started sitting the student out in the hall during the news time. And she would forget to come get her, and it would be a long time before she would get back in class. She even went in one morning to her regular room, and, oh, you're across the hall. We changed you. They changed her without notifying the parent. Some of the subjects that CNN promotes, just today, I looked. Roommate confronts Brian Kroberger. Campus protest disrupts graduation ceremony. South Park program premieres skewers Trump and Paramount in fiery return. What does this have to do with CTE? So that's why in May I made the motion to divest ourselves from, watching CNN 10. And there was some discussion, and it was tabled, and it wasn't brought up in June because of a missing member. But that's why I'm bringing it up again tonight. I just fail to understand how watching some of this has anything to do with career technical education. And then I know Mr. Parker amended my motion to include all forms, and
Well,
agreed to that.
yes. So Dr. Marvin is coming to the podium to talk about CNN 10 is at the secondary level middle school. And so Dr. Marvin, talk about the parameters that we have set forth and what you know about CNN 10 being viewed.
Yes, ma'am. What I know to be true is that after Mr. Chadwick had brought this up before, we had discussed this and sent an email out on April the 15th to all careers teachers, which does fall under the CTE umbrella, that just let everyone know moving forward, if they are planning on using CNN 10, any other news segment, any newspaper article, anything that they are using, that it needed to be previewed first to make sure that it did deal with a career or a post-secondary opportunity if they were using that for a writing prompt. I did talk to the principal. That was in April. And then when there was a little bit more discussion about that in May, I talked to the principal there again, and she said that it had not been used in this classroom since the parameters were set. And that the parameters were to make sure that it was viewed prior to the students viewing it, and only to use a segment that dealt directly with a post-secondary career opportunity, school, technical school, anything like that, that the students were going to be utilizing as a writing prompt.
There are usually 3 episodes in one program.
Mhm.
How do you, I mean, if it's a 10-minute program and you pick out the middle, I don't know, seems just like a lot of extra. Again, I failed some of the subjects. I just failed it.
Yes, sir, and I agree with that. I don't think some of those subjects do.
CTE.
Right, and that's why we set the parameters, that if they were going to utilize that, then they needed to make sure that they viewed it and it dealt directly with a career
I
opportunity.
appreciate that.
Mhm. Yes, thank
But I
you.
still think, my motion was to divest ourselves from using CNN 10. Or amended it any. That's where we stood, before it was tabled. So that's where I would like to go with it. If we vote and vote to keep it, if the votes are there to keep it, let's follow the parameters there. And if not, we don't use it.
Bill, I'm just wondering, how do we make this, like you sent out the email to the principals at that time, but would we as a board have to make this in a motion where it's a policy? Or is that just something that could be set up in some type of administrative procedures that you all have, so that as new principals come along or new administrators come along, teachers, that they know this is how we want these news channels to be used?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Haley.
I have to ask Mr. Hall to probably chime in, but I'm thinking since it was done the way it was, it'd be in your motion as a new action tonight, as opposed to picking up where it's left off. And Mr. Chadwick, for clarity, I think I understood you to say either vote to do or not to do something. I think when there's a motion, I think you'd have to make a motion for an action. We're already doing something. It'd have to be a motion to change that. Is that not correct?
Thank you, Mr. Haley. The prior action, the original motion was postponed to the next month. So the original motion was made in April. It was postponed until May. No action was taken in May. So that removes that motion from the business of this body. And so that business is concluded. So whatever the prior motion is, it's gone, dead, and away. There would have to be a new motion made and seconded and passed on whatever this body wants to do with respect to the information regarding CNN 10.
I offer a motion then that, CNN seems to be the worst offender. When I say worst offender, the more off the wall, in my opinion, topics that they bring up, that we not use CNN 10. And if there's a problem with any other news organization, we'll deal with it then.
Can my question be answered before we get a second, or is that the discussion after we get a second?
There's a motion pending and it needs a second
That's the
before there
before.
can be second.
I'll second for the sake of discussion.
Okay, so what's the answer to the question that I asked? Was I not clear on the question? How do we put this in not a policy, but just an administrative guideline so that our teachers and administrators know this is how we would like for this to be handled in the future?
I think what we need to do is, Dr. Marvin, thank you for sending that email. It has gone out to administrators. We could create a form, something that teachers would fill out on the CNN topic that they choose to watch or view for that day. And so we would have a record of what is being shown in classrooms. So that would be a procedure.
I feel comfortable with principals monitoring that in their buildings. And there hasn't been an issue since the email was sent in April.
With the,
Do you know what schools were using? I mean, I've heard of two.
I know one that was using it consistently and one that was intermittent. And the other two, no.
Mr. Parker?
Is your email, I'm trying to look back, but for some reason my email won't go back that far. Is it specific to TNN 10 or is it specific to all platforms?
It says all well, it is specific initially to CNN 10, and then it says any media, any news media articles, anything that is utilized.
So we're
not, it's a blanket. Yes, we are not individually calling out CNN 10 other than if they are using CNN 10 or any other, because there are obviously lots of news media that they could be using in their classroom. And I can resend that to you so it'll come to the top.
Have any other discussion? Ms. Lampley?
We're saying they have to get permission if there's an article from the New York Times that they want to share with a class. They see something in, I don't know, the ARC Tennessee, that's a good article of training for students with a disability. I mean, how many forms can our schools get permission before we bring data to our students? Is that really our best solution? I'm trying to think of a parallel. It seems like there are other things that we know the world offers multiples, and we recognize some are good and some are harmful. I don't know that you're on the path. You have to always get permission. Where is our ability as a board to require good discernment? Does that make sense? Is there an option or a way that we say we want discernment and that we're communicating? It can't be blanket. It has to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Is there a way that it flips to say where are we not doing it well instead of we always have to ask?
Mm-hmm. I think,
we're going to
yes,
shut
ma'am.
down lots.
I do too. And I'm concerned about that. But I think that just with the parameters that were set, that it has to be previewed. I mean, we're talking about professionals that are teachers. And if you're giving them this expectation that this has to be previewed before it is shown and it must meet this criteria, and they have upheld that since then.
you know, that is a practice that as teachers professionally, they do beyond media. They look at the materials before they present it to students, the curriculum. They're doing that and creating the discernment.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Haley.
echo what Ms. Lampley said. I hear what you're saying and I agree, but I think that happens every day. And I think that if there is an infraction, that's the administration's job is to hear if we tell them something to address it. And if they don't address it, then bring it to the board. I hate to see us take that away from everyone else because of an infraction or two that might need to be addressed that may have been addressed since then. I was very satisfied with your response that night, and speaking to the parent that was here, I felt like they were too. So I think we can do that, but I think we need to do a policy to say that we support you doing it. I don't expect it from them. I think they do it every day on a scale that we don't see. With nearly 8,000 kids in all the classrooms, there's some decisions made every day, and by far and large, they're good ones. If there's one that needs to be questioned, then there's a process for that. That's all I got to say.
Mr. Parker?
Just one more question on the review of that. So you say that somebody needs to be reviewed. Is the teacher that's showing it, I guess, is this procedure just saying that the teacher that's showing it needs to look at it, review it herself, make sure that it reaches, or do you have an administrator that's reviewing it, or who is doing the reviewing process? And it's just a question.
Yes, sir. To me, yes, sir. The teacher.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
It says that they must, before incorporating it, review it prior to, and only utilize the segment that pertains to a career standard or a post-secondary opportunity.
I understand writing is very important. Students need to be able to look at something and, digest it and write about it. But CTE, Career Technical Education, what's going on in our CTE classes? I mean, at one school, I know a student told me, well, we had this subject. I mean, it was about jobs. It wasn't about watching a program about South Park and writing about it. I mean, in career technical education, doing something with job possibilities that the kids can learn about.
I will speak to that. So we had a meeting today with all of our CTE educators. We brought our middle school in. One thing that we are going to do moving forward in our program, we're looking at ways that these career courses in middle school are going to directly tie to the programs of study that we offer in our high schools. So I think, as we look forward to this in the future, I want to say, okay, at this school, we offer automotive MLR as one of our programs of study. I want our schools that feed that to see the opportunities that we have available for them. So we're going to look at that curriculum. We have got a lot of our ICEV that we have available for us, our careers. There is a career section in our ICEV. I want to utilize that. The ICEV that we use kind of goes across our curriculum, across our high school, secondary as well. If I can take that curriculum is going to automatically feed into what the students are working with in the high school level. So where we have we have agriculture at each location, we have our vet science. We're going to have the students go ahead and then look at, okay, we have horticulture, we have vet. What do we have in this 6th, 7th, 8th grade that we want to go ahead and expose them to that? So by the time they get ready to get to our high school level, they're going to have a foundation. They're going to know, okay, when I get to the high school, this is waiting for me. When I get to Creekwood, this is going to be here. Right now we have an outstanding welding facility being developed. So I want the students that are going to be feeding in that to know, okay, I'm going to focus. I want those schools that feed Creekwood to know, here's what welding is going to be for you. So that is going to be one of the conversations that I'll be having with these middle school career teachers moving forward, that we're going to tie their career curriculum into what is going to articulate into the high schools that they're going to be feeding into. And that's going to be our goal moving forward in these CTE career classes. Does that answer?
That's my point. How does watching the roommate confront Brian Koberger have anything to do with welding?
Well, I assure you, sir, at that point in time, this all took place prior to my start, but I give you my
That was on the
assurance.
list today.
Yes, sir. I will be giving, I'll be having some conversations within the next week before we start school, to really try to, bring, in light saying this is, what we had in the past, but this is how I want this curriculum to look moving
I
forward
agree with you.
into the future. So I think, that is certainly something that we can explore. I've looked at our ICV curriculum. I feel confident that curriculum itself will give us the opportunity where we don't have to pull as many outside resources. We can have curriculum that is directly tied to our state standards. And then we're going to have a curriculum developed that we shouldn't have to be pulling, news articles and have as much filling, just something to fill a class period. We should have a lot more engaging time for those students.
That's what I want to see.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Questions? Okay, will you restate exactly what your motion was?
It was to not utilize the C and N10 news stories for the purpose of writing points in the CTE classes.
Madam Chair, will you specify what a yes and a no vote does?
Yes means we are not to use C and N10 in writing in the CTE classes.
Thank you.
Go, please.
Ms. Brogdon, no. Mr. Chadwick, yes. Mr. Haley, no. Ms. Lampley, no. Mr. Parker, yes. Ms. Thiel, no. 4 noes.
Next, we move to federal funds update.
The only update that I really have is the state emailed us last Friday to say that they were reopening our consolidated funding application, which essentially means what I talked to you all about at the planning session. We'll be rebudgeting those Title I dollars, and then they're still continuing to talk about Title II, Title III, and Title IV at the federal level. So we don't have anything beyond what we discussed that night on Title II, Title III, or Title II.
Are we still good? I mean, we still shouldn't have to, if it doesn't unfreeze, we wouldn't have to make an amendment till after January. Is that how we still feel on our budget?
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
Any other questions, Ms. Lampley?
Just the question you presented, that was 1C, right? It was
1C
frozen?
is migrant. Yes, and we
So-
do not receive 1C dollars.
Okay, so didn't they come back with more freeze under Title I after that first pass?
It's not really it's not a federal freeze of Title I. The state said essentially you need to look at your CFA budget, and if you move to Title II, Title III, or Title IV dollars into Title I, you're going to have to amend that budget. And that's what I'll be in the process of doing.
Thank you.
Any other questions for federal funds? You have finance?
Good evening. These are the financials as of July the 14th, which is when we were requested to send in our board documents. These are not finalized. As y'all know, June takes a little while to finalize. There are some entries that we're still waiting on as of yet, and we won't be asking for June approval until next board meeting in August, as usual. So these are just for your viewing.
Bill?
Is it possible that we could get the detail of each department versus just the summary when we get our next report?
For the year end, you're wanting detailed report.
Right, because there's some line items that we are like on income, vocational. We were like $1 million short of what was budgeted. And so, I mean, that's an income, which would be just one line item, but there's other areas that under the expenditures where we underspent that I would like to look at the line items versus just the summary of that department.
Vocational would be ISM, and that's because the final year is next year. So as you know, we budget the full revenue, but yet those are funds that we got over, I think, a 4-year period. And so that's why those were under. But we can do more detail next time.
Well, some months we get the
quarterly
detail.
reports.
And so I just think it would be helpful, especially as we're looking at the year end, that we know the line items and the budget amount.
Final quarterly be itemized. Is that
Yes.
what you're asking?
Mhm.
Like the quarter reports?
Right, but the report that we got for this review was the June report, which is an end of a quarter, but it is in a summary format versus the detail.
And I think that's because you don't have all the numbers,
Yes,
correct?
it
When you
is.
get them finalized, and you'll send us the
Yes, quarterly
regular
reports.
quarterly.
Mhm.
Because we won't approve it till next meeting.
So at the next meeting, we will have the
Before the
detail.
meeting, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have piggyback contract.
Scott is here to talk about that if y'all have any questions, but I think Alan did review the contract.
She said that excitingly, didn't she?
Yes.
He come and asked me today if I wanted to do it, and I was like, no, I'll let you.
Yeah, this is the contract for our internet service. Our current contract is expiring. It was with Metro Nashville. It was 10 years, I believe, and it will be ending next June. And this will give us time to go ahead and start making the transition by going ahead and improving this contract, the piggyback off this contract.
And board members, I have reviewed this contract. It is, it's a piggyback contract that we just sign on to, basically.
It also is.
I would recommend approval.
It's also it is a significant savings to this new contract on the internet.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any other discussion? Vote, please.
Six eyes.
Thank y'all.
you, Scott. Next, we have the Tennessee bonus.
So we just received these funds yesterday, and so we wanted to go ahead and push these out to see, hopefully get approval tonight. That way we can take it to the county commission in August for approval. This is a zero net impact to our budget.
Parker.
I'll move to approve and discussion if I get a second.
Second.
Can you just help me out on, so it's going to go on our revenue line
Yes.
and then it's going to come out of,
Expenditures, 71,100, 188, which is a bonus line that we don't typically use, but the state is requiring us to use. And then it would be 71,100, 201 for Social Security, 204 for retirement, 212 for Medicare, and 217 for hybrid.
so what are we taking to get approval on? I guess that's my question. Why do we have to take this to the county commission? It's money in, money out, right?
It still impacts our major category for 71,100 and our revenue code 46,000. It impacts both of those.
Because we don't have the money now to pay it, we're paying them, and then when it will be a wash when we get the money from the state, right?
The state money has already came in. Mm-hmm.
But because we're creating that new line, that's why we're having to go ask. Because we're creating a whole new category that's not in our budget. So
It's
we're
not a
going
new
to,
category, but it's a new object code under the category. But either way, we would have to go eventually because
it wasn't in the budget.
Correct.
So that's why we're asking.
So I'd rather go up front than after the fact.
But does this mean that our employees will be delayed a month because of that, or could you run it through payroll?
We cannot. We would wait for their approval.
Okay, so the new line items, I understood the one about the income is going to show up in a separate account number. Do the expenses also, does it have a new category, or is this going to impact our individual line items so we will not be able to monitor those to know if we're within budget or not within budget?
It would hit the 71,100 account, so it's regular instruction.
Here under expenses, you're going to have 7-1.
Well, it's going to fall into the 71,100, but when you break down the itemized, the 188 would be separated.
So it's going, I'm just wanting to make sure that we can monitor what we're actually spending that is not this additional income that we're receiving. So where there will be Social Security taxes and all those various things, will there be a separate line item in that department so that we will know this Social Security is for the bonus?
I can make it that way.
I think that would be helpful for us as we look at the, as you know, as
It
we're
essentially
just
should
looking
be
at.
money in, money out, but there will be maybe a little bit of give and take depending on people and their pre-tax deductions that they have. But yes, I can do that. I can create an additional line.
Could you run through those lines again as to what?
It's 71,100, 188,
Well,
71,100, 201.
well, I mean, like you said, one of them was Social Security.
So 201 is Social Security. 204 is state retirement. 212 is Medicare. And 217 is for the hybrid portion of the retirement.
So it's not possible to add another.
No, it is. I can do that.
I'm just saying, instead of those individual line items, to add a department so that you don't have to do that in each one of those, that's not a possibility.
This is what the state requires.
Is this 594 teachers? Is that the number?
I believe that is correct. I would have to double check. It was 594, 596.
And so if they're not still employed, we
still have to pay it.
we still find them. Yeah.
It was for the 24-25 school year,
Yeah.
even though it's not paid out until this year.
State's paying on us, right?
That's right. The state's paying.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Next, we have maintenance update.
Board members, for some reason, we did not get that monthly maintenance report on BOE Connect this morning or this month. Apologize for that. I do have an account of those numbers that you'd like to see at the top. Created tickets this month, although most people weren't here, was 74. Completed monthly tickets, 129 with 164 still in progress. Off to the side of those tickets, those monthly tickets, we're doing quite a few projects this month. So I hope to next month have a report on all the extra stuff that happened throughout the summer. As far as the Operation Hero system goes, updates on the Stuart Burns and White Bluff elementary school roofs are on target. If you've been by there lately, there's roofing material sitting all in front of the schools. That'll be moved before Tuesday, midday. They have parent-teacher meetings that night. I think myself and Mr. Corlew and all the roofers, we'll have a progress meeting at, we'll have one Monday and one Tuesday. We'll be on the progress report at the high wall, which if you've been by there, they've ripped all the brick off the high wall at Dickson County High. They have run into a few issues there after they pulled the brick down because they didn't infill around all the beams. So there's a bunch of voids up there that we'll have to figure out what we're going to do, and we'll meet and talk about that on Tuesday as well. And CTE building's coming along nicely. We'll also have a progress meeting over there next Tuesday. Got any questions? I'll try to answer them for you. You can imagine when you tear those roofs off, that's a foam roof. So you've already got small foam, and then they hit it with a lawnmower. It's
the roofers.
Thank you, Gerald. Next, do we have human resources?
So tonight you have the regular reports with the Human Resources report for July 2025, with retirements, resignations, leaves of absence, and hires, transfers, assignments, and reassignments. I know it's a long list, but it also has summer school is listed on that as well. And then the second document is last month's, the graph that we have for July. And the other item there is the job description that was, 2 jobs were combined with the Grow Your Own coordinator and behavior consultant. And that is the document that you looked at our planning session. Any questions?
Busy, it looks like.
It is a busy season, yes.
How many open teaching positions do we have?
How many? Oh, all right, let's see. But 4 in the elementary division as of today. Tomorrow could change. 3 in the secondary division. We have several SPED teacher positions open. That's our situation right now. But Dr. Johnson and her group are very creative and are working to find ways that we can fill those, and we are continuing to recruit. And like all the other districts, we're all fighting for the same people. We have a couple that are leaving us that we are having them on a hold for 30 days. And in that time, we hope to find someone to replace those. They are included in that 7 also. We have several SPED assistants, 2 SLPs, which are speech language pathologists, and bus drivers. And Ms. Garten will still have a mechanic position open, and bus assistants.
So the high schools are full with teachers?
We need 3.
At high school?
Mm-hmm.
And what subjects are those?
ELA, math, CTE counselor, and a writing teacher, but let me take, not the writing teacher. That one, I clicked the buttons before this meeting. So ELA, math, and CTE counselor one. But there are several interviews scheduled principals have tomorrow. They're keeping me posted. They're also making plan B for what we'll do to cover in case that doesn't happen by the time we have students next Friday.
Does Plan B include a licensed teacher in the classroom with the children? Do you know what Plan B is, or?
Each principal has a plan. Some of them might involve a sub until we find someone, but they're looking at our certified subs that are in ESS.
Thank you.
Any other questions? And there's another.
This is better than last year? In terms,
Yes,
in terms-
in the classrooms, yes. Our special ed teachers, that's a higher number. But I will say at this point last year, with our classroom teachers, especially in secondary, it was larger at this time. But tomorrow's another day.
You got next week.
Yes, sir. And then there's another item under this, but Dr. Johnson's going to come up and talk about a contract.
But as Dr. Johnson makes her way to the podium, I would like to recognize 3 individuals for retirements. Norma Jones, attendant secretary at Charlotte Middle School. Jerry Lewis, full-time bus driver, transportation, 21 years. Teresa Street, DBA secretary, Dickson Elementary School, 11 years. We want to thank each of these individuals for their service. Yes.
Pass it down, please. This is an item that Mr. Hall has been helping us with as far as reviewing it as a contract that we are requesting your approval on. We are wanting to contract with Allied Instructional Services. One of our very hard to fill positions is for a licensed school psychologist. In our budget, we currently have availability, or we have positions for 8 school psychologists. We have 6 that are our people that are hired by Dickson County Schools. Last year, we had one of those positions actually filled with a part-time assessment specialist, and that person supports the school psychologists to the fullest extent that they can, but there are certain things that that person cannot do. We also had a contracted school psychologist last year with a different company. We were not fully satisfied with that particular company, so we are wanting to contract for this position with a different company. And again, we did ask Mr. Hall to take a look at this contract. One of the things that is very important to me is in a contract is to be able to basically give that company 30 days notice if we should hire a local candidate, because it would always be our preference to hire someone locally. This is a 1-year contract, and we have interviewed a candidate with this company that we feel would meet the expectations of our district and as well as the quality that we're looking for in a candidate. And again, Mr. Hall has had an opportunity to review this.
I'm searching for the amount of this contract. I see that we pay the company 20% of the first year. Is that correct? That's what we pay the company.
That is only if this particular applicant after this year, if we were interested in directly hiring them, then there would be basically a fee that we would have to pay that company to release that employee from that company.
In order for them to come to work for us.
It's $90 an hour is the contract price. So if you annualize it, it's above the amount, which is why it's here for board approval.
Amount of 25,000.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
So does this still leave you down one?
It does leave us down one. And again, last year we had that position filled with an assessment specialist. That person has resigned from our district. At this time, if we fill that other position, we would look at a part-time person because that way it would help to equalize and we would stay within our budget.
Is this in your budget?
We did.
Thank you.
But just to clarify what you just said, this is in your budget, but once we have this for the year, if you were to find someone else, we could only have the part-time person versus 2 people because it would make us exceed our budget. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
But what I would do if we found someone locally is I would give this company the 30 days notice, and then we could bring that other person on as a direct hire.
But we would not have this 20%.
We only have to pay the 20% referral fee, if you will, if that company had provided that person to us and we had previously rejected them, or that company had previously assigned that person to us. In other words, if the company provides us with the person and then we hire them, we have to pay them the 20% bonus. It's just like a
Right. Okay. That's what I thought. That's what I thought I was saying. So thank you. One other about I'm sorry because we've only gotten this. So how many hours? Is this just a normal school day for 180 days or what's
35 hours a week? Typically with the previous contracted school psychologists, they met that 35 hours per week. There were a few that they did not. If there's a snow day,
right,
sick day, then they are not paid for that time. Any other questions?
Need a vote for this. Vote to approve.
We have a motion to approve in a second. Any other discussion? Vote, please. All ayes. Thank you. Next, we have school nutrition. Services contract.
This is the contract that we are asking to approve. We discussed at the planning session. Troy, do you have anything to add?
Same as last year, except y'all requested bulk pay for the this is that work.
Thank you.
Second. Have a motion to approve in a second to approve the Balco agreement. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
all ayes?
Motion carries. Next, we have transportation yearly report.
I believe this was in your packet. It's just transportation yearly report that we report to the state. And also I like to report it to you. We do have several positions open. Since I've done this, we have 2 mechanics positions open, several bus drivers. This kind of tells you how many students we transported a day. We increased last year because of NDA. So we transported 5,913 kids. We have several of our routes that we run 2 and 3 routes during the day that doubles up. So we had an average of 72 routes that was regular, 13 special ed, and then 1 route that went to Tennessee School for the Blind. We went about 5,986 miles per day, which I know somebody's going to ask, but that's 53 times around the earth. And we went 4.5 times to the moon. So we did a lot of traveling last year. We didn't have any students hurt, which is what we always like to hear. We did have 12 accidents, some T-bones and some mailboxes and a couple of fence posts, but we didn't have anybody hurt. So that's definitely what we want to hear. We're retiring 3 buses this year. I'm extending 13 buses. You can go through here and kind of look, see how many Bluebirds we have. All of our buses, the special ed, does have air conditioner except a few of our speds. We still have all the cameras and radios on all of them. And I'm putting 13 in extended use this year because we didn't get any and kind of holding on to them. So if y'all got any questions for me, I'll try to answer them.
How long is 13? How many more years can you get out of 13?
This will be about 5 of them will come off next year, and the rest of them will be used 1 more year.
So we'll definitely be looking at 5, and then
We'll be looking at 3 I needed this year and the 5 more next year.
What's the mileage cap on buses? 150?
I didn't hear.
What's the mileage cap on buses?
250,000
250.
if they're less than 18 years old. Well, 15-year-old, we have to put them in
At
extension.
minimum, with 1 million miles a year, you're doing 4 buses at minimum on average a year.
And after school and summer school, of course, is adding to that mileage. So.
5.
Anybody else got any questions?
Any dogs accidents?
We had a few of those. A couple of rabbits. So maybe.
I had 7 in the years that I
Yep.
drove. None of them were in their front yard though.
That's good. I do appreciate y'all.
Because we appreciate you very much.
Thank you,
Yes.
Melissa.
We have student services, approval of student support organizations.
Chasing all the representatives from all the student support organizations on the summer is hard to do. So we were not able to get all those in front of you before you showed up. Every organization in your packet, I put it in a manila folder, all the different groups. Every one of them have been a student support organization in the past. The Dickson County Athletic Booster Club, I think, has been going on since the 70s. So a lot of these guys have been doing it forever. There's only one new one in your packet, and it was Creekwood Soccer. They wanted to have an organization to support soccer. That's the only new one in the group. So as far as those student support organizations or the student support organizations, that's in that manila folder.
I see that right. You said boys soccer?
I can't remember if it was boys and girls.
It says boys.
Then I guess it's for boys soccer only.
So you've got the nonprofit status from prior years.
Yeah, all of it's in your packet. They have to fill out a form and present all the paperwork. All those groups, it should be in there. All the older groups, they've been, like I said, they've been at it for a long time.
Yeah, so I think that the Charlotte Elementary PTO is the only one that there's a copy from the IRS.
Okay.
But you probably have all the others on file if you've had them.
I've got everything they gave me for tonight's meeting.
Okay. So
And
do
that
we
was the
need
thing.
those?
Normally I can ask. That won't be a problem.
Because we just had training on that.
Well, we
So
have
it's
a
fresh on my mind.
we have a 2-page form basically that they follow. It's 4, but they're basically filling out 2 pages.
Yep.
Some of them put more information than others.
Yep.
And if you are new, these are organizations that try to raise funds for their respective spots. And some of these have been going a long time. We have others in the past. This year they decided, and last year they decided no longer to be a student support organization. So these are all the ones we have, with only one new being the soccer.
Have any questions?
You need to vote to approve these. Everybody's doing that?
No, one more question was just on the soccer. It had school year 2025 to 2028. It's not, right?
It's for 1 year. They're 1 year at a time.
Yeah. I'll move to approve the SSO agreements.
Second.
Do we need to list them?
Your motion
I'll
is
list
for all of
them.
them.
Motion.
Motion, second to approve all of the school support organizations. That were presented, Creekwood, UCHS, DMS, BMS. That athletic. Creekwood boys soccer, Creekwood high school baseball, Charlotte Elementary School PTO. Creekwood On Deck Club. Creekwood End Zone. Any other questions? Discussion? Vote please. All ayes. Next, we have athletic services agreement.
Yes, ma'am. The STAR therapy for athletic trainers. We discussed this in the planning session. Mr. Hall looked at the contract and they have reworded the things that he requested them to add in their contract. And tonight, just agreeing on basically the change, and it was more than $25,000. So I think in the planning session, we discussed it had to be approved tonight.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the athletic trainer services agreement. Any other discussion? It is budgeted, correct? Vote please.
All ayes.
Next, we have September town meeting.
Yes, ma'am. This was just something we wanted to make you aware of, that actually the student support service folks, the 6 that are involved, we're meeting in the morning. I've had a couple of them to approach me that were very passionate about the need to do something like this in our district. Last year, we had in between 2 to 4 kids attempt suicide, and one was actually successful. And you guys probably have no idea how many suicide protocols we go through in a year. There's a protocol if a kid mentions any hot buzzword. There's a protocol that we have to follow. There's a lot of that going on right now. We have discussed in the past a little bit about mental health and the state that it is in as we speak now. And the student support service people were passionate about, let's try to do what can we do differently than what we're doing. So what we would like to do is to have a town hall meeting equivalent of, we're going to discuss it tomorrow, maybe at either just Creekwood High School for the whole county, or Creekwood High School and Dickson County to do both sides. We're going to discuss all the details tomorrow. But we just thought it would be good to talk about mental health, suicide prevention, and then we're going to throw in cell phones also within this meeting, because all of it kind of encompasses what's going on. So we just wanted to let you know what we're planning. So if you saw it in in the papers, newspapers, or social media, that's what this is about. And we have no idea how many people will come, but we want to offer help. If there's just 15 people that shows up, we feel like it could be a big impact on our district.
Sure.
Yes, Mr. Haley.
It's a great thing. I think it's very important to do it at both schools for the simple fact that some people that can't get to Creekwood or on North can get to Dickson may even wind up being something that would grow into more than that. But I would love to see you do it twice.
Yeah, that'd be fine. That's what we're discussing tomorrow. We just wanted to be as much impact as we possibly can. And we're going to go over all the details tomorrow. We're spending a good part of the day planning on it. We can give you more information after we plan it, but just wanted to give you a heads up, if nothing else, as to what the thought process is.
Bill.
In something that I was reviewing, it says that at least 2 hours of suicide prevention is to be given during in-service training to teachers and administrators. Can you tell me what we do in regard to that currently?
I couldn't give you a lot of specifics, no.
Can someone?
Tag team.
The secondary division today had the Jason Foundation come today to speak to all secondary teachers and staff. The Jason Foundation is a suicide awareness foundation and all their materials are free, and it is to bring awareness, look for warning signs. So they talked to all of our teachers today for about an hour and 15 minutes. And then they broke off and spoke with student support specialists and our school counselors for another hour and 15 minutes. And then they were gathering training. And Morgan Marks was the gentleman who came and spoke to us today. And he is going to get us some different handouts and flyers and just different things that I will not be silent is their slogan, just to make sure that everyone is aware. Ms. Monroe, she usually heads that up with the nurses and training, and that said that the school counselors can train for the other hour that they missed or 45 minutes, but they're going to work on that also.
And do we do the same thing with elementary, or is it just done in secondary?
There is suicide training that
Protocols that all of our guidance counselors have to follow. There's a lot of paperwork and questions that come with that. The Jason Foundation is big on the suicide prevention network, ESPN. They're involved in the part of the curriculum.
Thank you.
I'm Chair.
Yes.
Take a break before we move on.
Yes. I knew Jason was going to do it. We're going to pick up with the next item on the agenda, waiver fed.
Madam Chair, members of the board, we have Mr. Brandon Williams here to talk about wave effects.
Good evening, everyone. I have a thing for the background. Try to add to y'all's copy. What you're receiving coming around is basically a kind of a pamphlet of about the league and giving you some information on what we have. Also has the liability insurance in there as well that was requested. Just to tell you a little bit about myself for those of you that don't know me, my name is Brandon Williams. I grew up in Charlotte. I went to Charlotte Elementary School, Charlotte Middle School, went to Creekwood High School, and graduated from there. Was blessed enough to go play Division I basketball at University of Evansville, and from there furthered my career for playing overseas for 3 years in the Caribbean. And I came back after that to just give the kids here kind of an insight of what it takes to get to that level. I know a lot of sports kids have come up to me, asking me, about workouts and things like that. And it's tough to, especially in our small county, as we continue to grow, but it's tough to get to a place that you really want to get to without knowing the work ethic that it takes. So that was my job coming back here. And I know I've trained a lot of kids here and surrounding counties as well that I've helped out get to college and also reach their goals as well. So my thought process behind this league, which is called the Wave Effect Developmental Next Gen, was just that the kids here, I think for us as a county to keep our kids here and keep them where we can help them grow up in our system is to bring something like this to Dickson County. And I know that, I've talked to a few people who said we used to have this a while ago where each elementary school used to have their own team. So being able to bring something like this back, I think would be exciting for the kids as well. We also, when we were doing this, we also planned to follow the school's curriculums with the RTI and the SEL for students as well. And talking about what Joey talked about as well with the mental health issues as well, I think this will help promote and enhance that as well as they continue to grow through sport, using sport as a tool. I will say that with this league too, we have done a league before this called the Wave Effect Developmental League, where this was our third year doing it. And we had over 200 kids our first year, which we done it at Creekwood, come out, and it was a great turnout, more than we even expected. But a lot of those kids really learned over that springtime what they could add to their game. And also coaches came to me and was thanking me for putting it on for their kids. So they came back and was actually knowing something about the game as well that they can add to their team. So I definitely think this is something that would shine a light on Dickson County schools and bring more excitement and pride for our kids here in the elementary schools too, to not only, play on the basketball team, but play for their actual school. I don't think there's any other thing more exciting than that as a kid to be able to do that. So I do appreciate you all having me and even let me speak to you all about this. So if there's any questions, I'm here to answer.
I just had a question about how this is going to relate to the junior pro basketball.
Yeah.
Like it looked like from what we saw at the last meeting that this is not going to be in conflict with junior pro timeframe.
Correct.
Do you have any ways that you will also be working with the junior pro programs that are already in existence? We did do this when we calculated the time frame of it. We wanted to miss the junior pros, so we didn't conflict with them. But we also wanted it to take in or go into the middle school. So after this program would end, it would go right into the middle school games and then high school games as well. So it kind of flowed right into it. As far as me being with the junior pro, I think with this program, my focus would be on the middle school coaches. Because these are kids who would be going up to their school and joining their teams. And again, I had a lot of middle school coaches ask me, like, what would be the bridge for, these kids coming in, us not having to start back from ground zero. Mm-hmm.
And I think this would be a focus for them to come even to participate in the program as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Comes access to schools, is it the elementary schools?
Yes, sir.
And so, one thing I don't know that our elementary school staff is used to is sporting events, as our secondaries are. Will the administration have to be present at the school?
We have to have one person from the school at the event.
At the event?
It doesn't mean it has to be an administrator. Joey?
Anyone that works.
Yes.
And they'll be there to lock up and hold responsibility for what goes on that night?
They will have to be there to help assist. And Brandon is, he has met with the principals of the school and spoken with them. And I guess he's gathering his team.
Yes.
So that would help with this program. And so once he gets that established, we will get the names of everyone he's working with.
I asked that. I mean, we have a policy on sporting events, and it's administration, if I'm not mistaken, the way our policy reads. I'd have to go back and look at it, but I'm pretty sure it's administration. I don't know what the number is offhand, and that's why I asked that. I kind of agree with that, except it's playing for your school is what the man said. You know what I mean? If you're going to put Charlotte Tigers and other Burns Bobcats or whatever other trying to think of what William James was at middle school. Colonel. Yeah, if you're gonna put our logos on there, then I don't know. But that's just a question I had.
Your speeches for Mr. Parker, that's pretty good.
Do what?
I've never seen you speeches without the word. That's pretty good. So, quick question. If I see you're fixing to speak, why don't you go first?
No, go ahead.
Good. Thank you. I should have done
No, you're good. I'm still formulating. You go ahead.
You sure? So, do y'all operate this type of program in other counties or other school systems or other communities besides Dickson?
This would be the first. This would be the first place that we operated at.
Is it the intent to make it a business standpoint, from a business model in more places?
So yes, we do. We would want to include other surrounding counties just so we could get different talent for our students to, which will be later on down the road, but that they can see different skills as well. Because playing certain talent at some point you kind of grow out of it, and you need to have something that comes and challenges you as well. And just take the Nashville district for instance. These kids play year round, and they're seeing all kinds of talents from people even here going there. And my thing is, why don't we bring people here to again shine light on Dickson and also give our kids some other talent as well to come in and play against?
So where'd you play for in the Caribbean?
Sorry,
where'd you play after school? When you went
in college?
No, when you went on to play, you said in the
Caribbean. Oh, yes, sir. I played in the Caribbean. It was the ABBA league out there.
Good.
Yeah.
It's nice to see our graduates do well. How's this going to affect after school care that uses
They
gyms?
will not get started until after school
6,
care leaves. We discussed that.
Mm-hmm. So at the work session last month, the only real concern that I had, and I want to make sure that we adhere to that, is the fact, even though it's a nonprofit, it is a business, and that's okay. But from that standpoint, the way it classifies for our use of school facilities is if you're using it more than 5 times in a year period, then there must be a negotiated contract between the director brought to the board for approval, which you go through our attorney too. It's a lease, it's a rent. You're using public facilities, and if it's a community event or for if you're going to do a camp once a year or something like that, then it's a different situation. But in this case, I think we would have to have a lease contract. And I know it's 11th hour for that. I think it's new for several, although you've done this before with our schools, and I think there was probably a little bit different than the way it was handled. But I think for what it's going to be, that we would need to adhere to that policy. That policy, by the way, Mr. Hall, is 3.206. It hides. It's hard to find sometimes.
Yeah.
I looked forever for it last time, but I just want to make sure we go by that as far as using the facilities, because if not, then someone else comes along tomorrow and says, I want to use the schools for basketball too, and now we have a competing situation. So I think the contract's important. With that, I'm through. Nice presentation.
After speaking with Valerie and looking up nonprofits, they are $27.50 a day for the use of the gym. Brandon indicated, I can't remember if it was through me or Joey or Valerie, around 44 days when we looked at the calendar, which would equate to $1,210.
So I want to just share my thoughts on that. For the use per day, the calculation, that would be correct. But if you go on down that policy and you get to page 2, line 1, any use of facilities for a long-term basis, which is defined as more than 5 days in a 12-month period, shall have use and fees negotiated by the director and approved by the board in order to ensure all expenses incurred by the system are covered. And the reason for that is, I hate to go back to the use from a church facility, but that's the best example we have. When we are basing it on the category and then the percentage discount for a 1-time, 2-time, or up to 5-time use, it doesn't cover our expenses. It doesn't cover maintenance. It doesn't cover a lot of things. I know we say that you have to have somebody from the janitorial service come in behind you and clean up. It has to be our service. But when we're talking about more than 5 days, all the other groups are out the window. You're negotiating a lease contract with the business, whether it's 501c3 or whether it's a community group. When it's used more than 5 times in a year, it becomes a use lease. If I've said that wrong, Mr. Hall, correct me on that. It's not based on the same numbers.
It is not. I remember when this policy was amended, I think, and we added those provisions to cover longer term usage. And you are correct. Whether it's a use lease or whatever you want to call it, it is a specific contract with the board for the use of the facility. I will add too, there's also board policy about use of our school names and mascots that would have to specifically require board approval as well. I think Mr. Parker might have alluded to that.
So in calculating the cost, we would look at the janitorial fees, the amount of time each day, plus if the time frame is from 6 to 9, so that the electricity is covered and all those other expenses are covered in the contract. Is that what I'm hearing will be done?
Yes,
that's what I'm hearing.
We have public buildings that we control, and we can't let anyone, no matter how good the program, use them at the cost of the taxpayer.
Right.
At the same time, we're not in the business to make a profit off that. We're operating buildings to try to help our community, to help our kids have opportunity. I believe that's what you're doing. But from the way the policy reads, that's where you two will make what would be considered a negotiated fair lease that the board would have to approve. So therefore, there'll be some board input into the use of the cost of that you can pick up along the way. But it doesn't need to be cost prohibitive, in my opinion, but also doesn't need to be a situation that the taxpayers are funding that for a private company. That's the intent of that.
One thing I wanted to add, that what Mr. Parker was talking about, the fee, it's worked through the administration, but it can be an employee of the building, that the fee can be no more than up to $25 an hour. So whoever has to be at the school building will get paid, and we discussed that in the meeting.
And just so you guys know, if this has started and approval process has started, I've sent an email to Mr. Hall, and he's going to be working on the contract end of this because we have other programs that we need to do.
What's the start-stop date? Is it in here?
Sorry?
The start-stop date?
It should be, but it's October 18th, and it'll end, August 18th to October 18th.
August 18th?
Yes, sir.
A few questions. So is it at all 8 elementary schools?
Well, when I had the principals meeting, everybody seemed like they were interested. We were there to, get to the principals who were wanting to participate. But yes, we want to build to all 8 elementary schools.
So the 44 days, the 1,200, that would be to each school.
Correct.
And then you're saying you would pay the staff in addition that.
So what we're looking to do as far as, so we want, take up all the time at one elementary school. We're looking to rotate different gyms. So maybe we have, practices here this week, and then next week we'll have practices here, same as games that way. So we wouldn't be like every day at, each one, but we'll be rotating.
So then, do you have tryouts? Is there a maximum number? And then you're saying that some weeks the kids from Burns have to go to Van Leer in theory.
Right, just so we're not taking that same elementary school time frame up the same week. But so with what's your question again? The first one?
Like, are there tryouts and a maximum number of students?
When we do it'll be like a combine week, which will take, all the students who want to participate. They'll be able to participate. There won't be any cuts. But we will, if we do have a, large amount at one school, we will kind of take like a pod 1, pod 2 team. So we'll create different pods for that school, just so everybody will still be on the team and get to play.
And then how are we addressing as far as, because there's a fee to play.
Correct.
And then there's potentially, again, driving them.
Correct.
So do you have things built in to help students that's a barrier or not?
Or
like
transportation?
The cost to participate.
Yes, we do this with all of our programs.
Mm-hmm.
If they cannot pay for it, then we scholarship players as well, the ones who can't afford it. So yeah, we do. We've done that with all of our programs that we've had. Yeah.
So the students that show up obviously have different abilities. How do you deal with ones that maybe are not as up to par as another?
Right, and we dealt with this for our older league that we had as well. I believe that no matter what skill level you're at, just like you're playing in middle school or high school, you're going to be on the team with somebody with lesser skill. You're going to have at least 2 or 3 players who are the best players on the team. But it's not all about who's, the best. The players who are the best have to learn leadership. They have to learn different qualities that it takes to even win games. So if you can score a lot of points, it's great. But if you can't lead the team, that's not going to be any good either. So having them kind of learn that early with, being the leader on their team or helping out in that cause would, help them as far as building a whole player.
Any other questions?
Just so I got them dates right, it was 8/18 to 10/18.
Just one other question. If a small school doesn't really have enough, do you look at combining?
Correct. Like Dickson Elementary School and Discovery School.
If there's not enough interest to fill out a whole team.
Correct. We would combine.
Combine.
Yes.
Is it that important? I mean, that how the school's logo involved? I mean, one team could be name.
I mean, it doesn't have to be the school, logo. I mean, if anything, I'm a graphic designer as well, so I can create the logo if I need to. But if it comes down to that,
that would get us out of, kernels and
right.
And
Tigers.
I mean, the junior pros, they're the Steelers and Bombers and
Right. Yeah.
everything. They pick a name.
Yeah. We could definitely pick a name if that's, a big issue.
Just for the record, we're the only enforcement agency of that logo and the use of, and I think we see it every day. You can go to any sport goods store and find a Cougar shirt, or you can find a junior pro team in a lot of sports that do use a lot of the stuff. So I think the intent of that is to keep somebody from using that for a profit or for misrepresentation. It might need some looking and studying, but I think it's intent based by far, especially in the short time frame working on here too. It's out there now. It's trying to get it right by policy for this young man is one thing. Make sure we don't get into a situation where issues in the building, but in reality, like Joey said, there's some things we're gonna have to work on over the next few years to make sure that we'll be fair to everyone that pays for the buildings.
Any other questions?
Am I right in saying that Steve and Mr. Hall, that we got to have a contract or something?
I think we need to ascertain really whether he's group 2 or group 3. Because if he's a group 3 organization, then yes, there would have to be a contract.
If you go more than 5 days, it doesn't matter what your group is, does it?
Well,
2, 3, or 4, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Group 1 doesn't meet that term, I believe.
yes, group 3 or 4. Group 2 is out of that. So, but lines 1 and 2 require that. So it's we have a little conflict in the policy, and so specific prevails over. All that to say, yes, there's going to have to be some sort of negotiated contract.
And I only ask that question, that just means you're not starting on the 18th of August. Unless we have a special sessions before then.
Well, use of facilities up to 5 times a year with the director's authority under one of those groups.
That's right.
What the policy says. So I think that's where you get into the differentiation. That's what y'all decide to do. I wouldn't meet 5 days in a row until there's a board meeting. So I don't think this is whether you want it to be here or not. That's up to the board. My only concern is if we're going to have that we meet the lease agreement, because if not, we're going to have it, and we may already have it in some places that need to be addressed. But doing it right, it's so much easier. I don't think it's that complicated, but they can get done. Well, I'm not knowing the summertime in it.
Oh yeah,
and it picks up quick.
What, 10 weeks?
Right about somewhere in there.
Oh, would we anyone school more than 5 times?
I'm just gonna make a comment on that. If you get started and you do it go 5 days and you have sign-ups and you put them kids signed up and you use up all 5 days and that contract comes to this board and fails, it's gonna look bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's just I would like to look at the junior pro dates myself. That's why I kind of wanted to ask on them dates. I want to see junior pros. I don't want to see junior pro get hurt by any means. So I'd like to look at the junior pro days. I don't know when they start, when they don't start.
I checked on that, and they don't start until November.
Until November.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be done before they're done.
All right.
But, pending a contract with our lawyer, I would hate for you to sign people up, take people's money. 5 days later, this board not Approve that contract.
I'm going to be very clear back to what I said at the work session. I'm not looking at seeing what the amount of money is going to be, as long as there's an agreement drawn up, and it might not look the same year one as it looks year two. I think the fact that they've worked something out to bring a program to the kids, I don't want to see that be damaged. So I'm not looking at a contract as much as how many dollars it is the first year, but I don't see doing a long term until there's time to go through that. I think in the interim, if it's something that you are opposed to the program itself, I think in the interim that there's a way to make it work.
Well, or, I mean, just approved a contract subject to my review and approval. So if the board wants to take action subject to a negotiated agreement that complies with the policy, then we can certainly do that. Or we have a work session. We could call a special call meeting during the work session for the express purpose of approving the contract. So those would be two alternative ways to handle it.
Get through the first year anyway, and it's the whole year think through all that then, because there's a lot to work out.
Right. Is this when it comes to using the facilities? Is that 5 times at one school or 5 times at any facility there is?
And this policy has been up for review several times in my 17 years, and every time there's always something like that comes out of it. But it used to say 3 days. It was changed to 5. It used to say no private business at all. It was changed at the director's discretion. So I think the intent is to avoid the intent of any policy is what I try to uphold. I think the intent is to avoid any private organization from having a hold use on the schools and anything that would be or fair market rate, but to at least offset the expense of the fact. And that may be even reduced by the fact of the benefit it brings the kids. It's not a dollar for dollar as much as we can't say you can use a place for free for basketball, and then somebody else come up and want to use it right behind you for something else and say no to them. Mm-hmm. So you open up the doors and say free use of a building for any business, we would never have school. So there's a balance there somewhere, and it's what it brings to the kids is the biggest factor in my eyes. It's not as much the dollar, but these rates are discounted for 1 time, 2 time, up to 5 time a year use. They've all been worked out ahead of time, but when you're in the long term, it never plays that well without the lease in place. Even for good organizations, it doesn't play out well. I think the first year is probably a growing period for you and us both of them too. Mm-hmm. Just my thoughts. I would think that doing a special call for that contract, though, at the work session would be more than in order.
It's not till the 14th.
It's the 14th?
It's the 14th.
And you get to come and sit and listen to us have another meeting. I know it's been exciting. I know it's been exciting for you.
Oh, yeah. Put on the backside of the work session. It'd be 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, you definitely got to last item. So
yes,
make him work for it a little bit.
Oh, that's good.
Even the last time didn't stick around.
All right.
Just try to keep it by policy and try to keep it right. Standpoint, that policy is my only concern. It was the work session, it will be tonight. The program itself doesn't look at it. What I've looked at it, it helps the kids. It's a good program for them. We have our own here that's bringing something back to the community. So why would that not be a good thing?
On our front door, there's a mission statement. It says, we're here to do things to help the students reach, their potential. And I know we're not in the business of turning out basketball players. I mean, that's, academics.
Right.
But obviously, you were a product of our system. Mm-hmm. And how many other graduates do we have that have played pro. I think it's admirable that, you want to do something to help. I mean, we face private schools. I mean, I know when you're at Creekwood, we went through private school out of Nashville that
Yes, I remember that very well.
yeah. I mean, they recruit.
Yeah.
They recruit. Eighth grader comes from, what was it, Oklahoma, Kansas, somewhere, plays on the team, high school team.
Yeah.
They recruit.
And that's the gap we're trying to mend as well, for the ones. And again, not everybody's going to play basketball, when they get older, want to play after high school. And for those kids, it's just going to develop, work ethic. It's going to develop time management. It's going to develop leadership skills. But the ones who do want to play and who's passionate about it, this will help them as they grow and when they do get into high school, and it will help our program because they played together so long and they know each other. And that's the thing that we're missing, I feel, when it does come to, sub-state and state, is we playing against players who've played together since they were little. And like I said, just like Nashville, they're playing all the time. And the more we can have that here, I think it'll help build our basketball program as well as building, better leaders too.
I'm chair, you're chair for a reason.
I'll add it
It's all together.
for the August 14th. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll see you August 14th
August 14th. Sounds good. Thank you.
session. Have a special session.
Have it special session just for that.
Be sure when we advertise that, it's specific for that contract too. Yeah. Please.
6:45 for the, 5:45.
Good evening.
Next, we'll move to policy.
The first four, I believe you all discussed at the work session, all are related to charter schools, and a few laws around charter schools changed in this last legislative session. None of those policies have been edited since the planning session, but my understanding is there were not many questions related to those.
Have any questions about the charter school policies? 1.901, 1.903, 1.905, and 1.906.
Motion to approve those four policies on first read.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve 1.901, 1.903, 1.905, and 1.906. Any other discussion? Vote, please. I'm sorry, we're messing you up splitting them, aren't we?
It's okay. I have it down. Who made the motion
Mr. Haley,
and seconded?
Mr. Parker.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All ayes. Motion carries. Next.
2.403, again, a change at the latest legislative session just pertaining to what we can do with items purchased with federal funds and the limit there changed from 5,000 to 10,000.
Move to pass on first read.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to approve 2.403 surplus property on first read. Any other discussion? Vote please.
All ayes.
Motion carries.
4.212, there has been an edit since the planning session. If you look at number 5 in that list of reasons virtual education can be used, in the last legislative session, it was passed that school districts can use 4 hybrid days in addition to the stockpile days that most districts now have. And so that reason has been added as number 5 there to comply with state law.
What is a hybrid? Can you just explain the hybrid day?
It would be, they can actually be virtual or hybrid, but it would be where some students might be in the school while some are at home learning.
Does the legislator, does it say determined as by the director of schools? Does the statute say that?
Yes, I didn't change that.
I envision the use of that here to be a situation where it's the day after snow and you can't run north routes, you can still have school and have some virtual. Is that being, I know the law passed to that, but is that what we think the local intent is? Or you're not planning on getting rid of snow days for the record?
No.
Clear that up for the ones that are watching tonight that have asked that question.
Yes, I am not getting rid of
To
snow
avoid
days.
overlapping and having excess days. And
Yes.
thank you. Very popular.
Oh, move to approve on first read.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to approve 4.212 virtual education program on first read. Any other discussion?
All ayes.
Carries.
Next is 5.310 related to vacations and holidays. This is a policy that TSBA flagged last fall that we are required to have that we do not currently have in our policy handbook.
Thanksgiving, don't we sometimes?
Yes, in the school, on the school calendar.
Got a paid day for people.
No, it is not.
We postpone this first read till next month, or is that cutting to a budget issue in finance? We don't have any holidays coming up in August, right? There's nothing that this would affect.
Labor Day's the first one. September.
I'd like to move to postpone till next month.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion?
It doesn't affect the way we're doing our holidays now. This is just the law that says we have to put it into a policy with the days. So by postponing, it doesn't affect even if it goes in September. Maybe it's still a holiday.
Correct.
Correct.
We're in discussion on the motion right now. It is different than what we're currently doing. This policy is different from what I gather. Am I right on that?
Are you speaking about
The number of
10
days.
month, 11 month, and 12 month? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it is different than what we're currently doing.
But they all follow Labor Day guidelines, so
Right, yeah, that's what I was saying. So it's not going to move anything on Labor Day.
To delay that, have that discussion at a work session. That was my only point.
We have a motion and a second to postpone this one.
To August.
Well, are we doing it work session? We will discuss it work session, but postpone it to the regular meeting.
Right. I mean, we need to clarify in the motion whether we're postponing indefinitely or postponing.
No, postpone it to August is, I'm sorry, yeah. I meant next month, I meant August, and if we can add it to the work session, that would be great too.
All eyes.
6.312, you'll see printed in front of you and in DOE Connect, you have two options that Mr. Hall developed for the wireless device policy. One of those has all students in grades K through 12 with their devices put away for the entirety of the school day. And the other option has for students in grades K through 8, the device put away and turned off for the entirety of the school day, but students in grades 9 through 12 with the option of them having it out during their lunch period, during their own lunch period. So not the entire hour and a half lunch period block, but for the 30 minutes that they are in the cafeteria. Thank Mr. Hall for clarifying.
Somebody's always at lunch.
Yes.
I like in the confines of the cafeteria myself. Question? You had your hand up first, ma'am.
I just wanted to talk about the smartwatches. I just feel like if you're a smartwatch is a cell phone this day and time. And so therefore, I don't understand the rationale between allowing that to be on the wrist, but just being cut off versus being put away as we're asking the other items need to be.
My smartwatch is not a cell phone. I can turn the functionality for me to send and receive messages off. And in fact, I don't get text messages on my smartwatch. It's just a watch. And I assumed, maybe incorrectly, that other students have watches where they can turn the functionality of that off, which is why I included it in there, because clearly the spirit of the policy is to not be able to use a wireless communication device during school time. And so, but if somebody had a watch like mine, and it is in fact a wireless communication device, it meets that definition, but if I have that functionality turned off that I can't message people with it, then I'm not violating the policy. That was my intent for including that in there, and that's what I thought I heard the board want at the work session. So that's why I included it. And I was just thinking, what are the ways that people are going to try to get around this policy? And the first one came to mind, well, everybody's going to be sitting there with their Apple Watch texting everybody. So, I mean, we're supposed to make them put their smartwatches away all day. I don't care.
Can you not have information on your smartwatch? I mean, store information.
Yeah, I mean,
my answers to test questions.
My training status is productive right now, so that information is stored on my smartwatch. But I mean,
You can take notes on it.
Yeah. I mean,
Right on your hand, too.
See them.
I know.
I mean, I'm assuming.
Let me add a thought. I've thought a lot about this, from the fact, what's the why are we doing this policy? There's a state law that says we have to. If it weren't for that state policy, we would not, or state law change, we would not be here tonight to discuss this. So, with that being said, a policy, we talk about the penalties and all those things at the work session. We have people that run the schools that they catch kids talking, catch them chewing gum. Some let them buy, some don't. They know where their problems are. And a watch, for that matter, even a device, is going to work a lot the same way. But if there's the law says we have to get rid of them during instructional time, I think the real dilemma in my head is, do we call instructional time start of the day, the end of the day, or do we take the lunch area away? Other than that, the policy just gives every administrator and every teacher the ability to enforce. You can't have cellular communication during class. If they're doing something on their watch, there's a strict policy that says you can't, then it gives them some teeth to operate off of. There's going to be some learning curve on that, and there's going to be some kids that are going to do it anyway. I don't care what we write in the policy. So I think giving something to these administrators and these teachers to fall back on and say, you can't have that in class, Joey's office, and Joey decides to send about the class, that's on him. They decide the fifth time in NBA, that's on him. But we can't decide every scenario that exists. Paul says no cell phones during instructional time. I think we need to make a decision whether it's going to be during all day or taking lunch out, and let these schools and administrators handle what they do when they catch somebody looking at a watch, writing a note in their hand, bringing a second phone, or sitting down and using it anyway. It's going to happen. It's the discipline part that goes with it. They have teeth to back it up with and enforce it. So, with that said, that's the only thing in my mind tonight is during lunch or not. And other than that, if you've got cellular communication during the instruction time, you're violating the policy. You're violating the law. What we have them for. That's just my thoughts.
Make a motion to pass 6.312 under the all day draft.
all day, all grades.
All day, all grades. Yes, sir.
We have a motion and a second to approve 6.312 all day, all grades. Any other discussion?
And board members, I would suggest that before we take the vote, we amend the motion to approve it for publication on first read for implementation pursuant to board policy, because the state law requires us to have this policy in place at the start of the school year, and we want to have a board meeting before the start of school year. So we want to have this policy in place, and the board can waive second reading.
Run the meeting before school starts. No.
So I amend my motion to waive second read and approve policy of all grades under all day as passing on the first read. Does my second hold still? Are we in discussion, or do I need to get a re-second or amended?
Did you second or third?
Somebody need to.
You were second.
Second.
So just a little discussion on it. You know, when it comes to the grades and the things, and you hear talk to principals and this and that, there's only two principals that this affects, and that's our two high schools. talking to our management at our elementary school and our middle school levels, they've always done this, which includes our upcoming high schoolers who are our ninth graders. So the effect that any kid would see would actually be in 2 schools in 3 grades. Is actually the only kids that would see a difference than they seen last year. Talking to the principals and taking the advice of the ex-principals that are all sitting in here and the administration that's sitting in here. That's why I made the motion on all grades and all day.
Other discussion. Ms. Thiel?
I'd like to go back to my part about the smartphones. The smartwatches. I hear what you're saying, Mr. Hall, that you can cut that off, but I still feel like that teacher is going to have to be monitoring that. Has that been cut off or not? Because, I see people constantly reading their texts via their smartwatch. I see them respond back into their phone, and they have that text is going to someone. They can store information there so that it can be. And if we don't have it where everything is put away, then the only thing that we're doing is saying to every student, get a smartwatch, and then the teacher is going to have to be monitoring that yet again. And we're trying to do this so that our students and teachers are not dealing with electronic devices while they're in class.
Again, Ms. Thiel, I don't care. And so if the board wants to remove lines 15 and 16 from the proposed policy, then that's the pleasure of the board. And if you want to amend the policy to take out those 2 lines, then the procedure would be to make a motion to delete those 2 lines and get a second, and then we'd go back to amending Mr. Parker's motion.
Parker, your motion is to pass this policy, 6.312, that's all day, every school. So I think if Ms. Thiel wants to amend that, she'd make a motion.
Yes.
That's correct. We'd have to. We got
just
a
didn't know
motion
if
and a
someone else had
second.
a comment.
We'd have to amend.
It'd be a motion to amend, but you can ask him any way you want to. It'd be a motion to amend what his motion before is.
Well, then I'd like to make a motion to delete lines 15 and 16 and add smart devices.
I'm just as a matter of grammar and policy construction, I think if you delete lines 15 and 16, you don't have to add smart devices in lines 1 and 2 because smartwatches are wireless communication devices.
I was going to, Mr. Hall, add smartwatches under cell phones where we list out the devices.
So cell phones, laptops, tablets, gaming devices, and smartwatches, is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's where I was.
Okay.
We know if all the classrooms have clocks.
Do we have all of our classrooms have clocks?
Chromebooks,
Not all of them, almost all.
Well, I didn't get a second, but Ms. Lampley, I think on the Chromebooks, there's the time, and we are a one-on-one institution.
Do you have any thoughts or input as far as watches?
I put a second on the motion.
That's the second now discussion.
Just say, you know,
So
that's fine.
now
I don't.
go ahead.
I don't.
Now you've got a second for discussion. Smartwatches are so much more than communication devices, and we're getting down to words right back where I started to begin with. But when we're wording that, I would much rather see it say smartwatches with communication accessibility, because I use my smartwatch for a lot of things besides communicating. I don't make calls on it; they'll come through, but you know, it watches my heart rate. It watches a lot of things that it's set to, and people, you know, we have kids that use that too. Of course, the medical exception is in there, but I just think we're trying to
Just as a matter of as policy construction, the list beginning at line 10 are illustrative only. They're not prohibited items. What is prohibited is a wireless communication device and personal electronic device. A wireless communication device and personal electronic device is defined as any device that is owned or controlled by the student and or their legal guardian and has the capability to provide voice, messaging, or other data communication between two or more parties, period. The rest of that is just illustrative, because I couldn't list every potential device that has the capability to provide voice messaging and other data communication between two or more parties. So anything, I guess if you had a can and two strings, then you have a wire. I don't know if a string is qualified as a wire or not, but I mean.
You're right.
So if we remove 15 and 16, because really what they were doing was making the watches a clarified exception if they're turned off. If we remove that, then they're not an exception, and it kind of falls back under kind of principal discretion. If they feel like watches are a problem, then they could be considered and be turned off.
No, a wireless communication, a watch that receives has the capability to provide voice, messaging, or other communication between two or more parties. And so an iWatch, by its nature, is a wireless communication device. And it's not it's away. The policy says it's away unless the principal without specific permission from the principal or designate.
So if we remove 15 and 16, then they cannot wear their watches.
That's correct. They're away all day. If it's a smartwatch, if it's a wireless communication device.
Yep.
If you got a Timex Ironman or a Timex or.
For those non-Apple users, there's a way to tell. You know, they have a red circle on when they communicate.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they're blank.
Yeah.
It's visible.
Discussion. So the motion that we have right now is to remove lines 15 and 16. Any additional
And add smartwatches in line
into the
14.
list under gaming devices.
Just a motion to amend.
I can't figure out on BOE Connect how to make two amendments, so I'm going to need to do this one on paper, and then I'll go back and type it in. So the motion is amend policy 6.312 to strike lines 15 and 16 and add smartwatches on line 14, made by Ms. Thiel, seconded by Mr. Barker. Ms. Brogdon?
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Haley,
No.
Ms. Lampley,
No.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Thiel.
Yes.
4 ayes.
Policy.
Now I'm on amendment number 1 to approve policy 6.312, use of wireless communication devices all day, all grades, draft on first read and waive second reading.
Correct.
And that was made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Chadwick. Voting is open. Six ayes.
So just so I understand, that just went into effect. That policy is now in effect.
That is correct.
Okay. I'll email it to BOE or TSBA tomorrow, and they'll upload it on the website, and we'll make sure our high school principals or all principals know about the policy.
I think the 6.315 we are going to pull because we need to work on it more.
Okay. So do we need to vote on that or just pull it? Okay. 6.500, there was one edit made. There was a request at the planning session that the language at the beginning be changed. And so you see that it is students who are receiving special education in line 1.
Motion to approve with edit on first read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve 6.500 on first read. Any other discussion? Vote please.
All ayes.
Next, we have director's report.
We have been very busy today with professional development with elementary and secondary. Each of you received the schedules of events, and it's been a good day. It's been a really good day. And so I'm proud of our teachers and excited about next Friday. A week from tomorrow, we will have our first day of school. Yes. Yes. A guest speaker coming tomorrow. So it's been great days, a great day today. Oh, the back to school bash is Saturday at the fairgrounds. Forgot about that. So it begins at 9 to 1. If you want to come out.
Next, we have comments by DCEA.
I'll be fast because it's been a great day, but I'm sleepy. The Jason Foundation presentation was absolutely incredible. And I encourage everyone in this room, if you haven't ever heard of them, to immediately look them up. We've already posted their website as a link to our Facebook page, but I wanted to thank you for having them speak to us today. But students are not the only ones who are excited to get back to school. Teachers
teachers are pretty excited to go back to school too. So yes, there is a back to school bash for students to get school supplies on Saturday, but there's also a back to school bash for teachers and Dickson County school employees that is also on Saturday. It's from 2 to 4 at Dickson County High School's lower campus. And we are giving away hundreds of dollars worth of wonderful freebies, restaurants, spa, bungee jumping, and there's so much stuff. So we want everybody who is in the district to come out and celebrate going back to school. And that's all I have. So thank you.
Thank you, Carrie.
What was the time?
From 2 to 4. Just come. Spring Peterson is catering. I think I know Spring. She's amazing cook. To work for nutrition. So yeah, lots of food, lots of stuff.
Saturday.
Yes.
Thank you, Carrie.
Comments from board members.
Good luck next week.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Be here before you know it, Will.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.